Tokenmetrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.
We are live. Welcome to the Tokenmetrics Monday live stream. If you need a roadmap in crypto and you need to make money in crypto, like and subscribe to this channel. I'm your host, Bill Noble, joined by my colleague and fellow analyst, Forrest. Forrest, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Bill. How about yourself?
Happy holidays to you, my friend. We are ready to take you through another wild day in crypto. Down on stocks, back up on crypto. Forrest, why don't you take us through today's agenda?
Absolutely. I'll share my screen here and we'll jump into the slides. So welcome to the Tokenmetrics live stream. Is this the Metaverse final dip? We're going to see a Santa bump and run rally. If you don't follow us on social media already, of course, on YouTube here, you want to like and subscribe. I've already done both. Don't forget to share the live stream out on these other social media platforms, as well as follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever your favorite social media platform is, we are there. Subscribe today at tokenmetrics.com if you want access to a phenomenal AI and machine learning based dashboard that highlights different indices, highlights different cryptocurrencies that are of high quality and predominantly or ripe for trading, right? Let's jump into the Tokenmetrics live agenda with Tokenmetrics updates. Then we'll do the market update with Bill. We'll do some altcoin trade location with me. And then we have crypto showdown and Q&A. Guys, if you want to participate in this live stream and interact with this live stream in both the Q&A session as well as crypto showdown, go to www.menti.com and use the code 66118607. 66118607. It's also in the link in the description below, so you don't have to pause on this page. We'll go ahead and give you the 3 coins for Crypto Showdown before we jump into the market update. That's going to be AVAX, Terra Luna, and Decentraland. So we've got 2 big layer 1 solutions. We've got Avalanche, just the king of DeFi right now. Then we've got Terra Luna, which is really the king of DeFi in terms of stable coins, with UST and Anchor Protocol allowing you to earn up to 20% APY. And then we've got the Metaverse play. So 2 big layer 1s here. And then Decentraland, which I'll give you a spoiler, is actually looking pretty bullish and ripe for a reversal. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the market update with Bill.
All right, let me welcome a couple people first. Slacker Dude, Peter File. Okay, a dingo ate my Satoshis. Excellent name. Welcome. Silent Sandal, Taz, Johnny Lucier, Tyson Larson. Welcome. Stephen O.V. Okay, now with all our friends on the stream, let's kick off your market update. Still looking to buy. So if you're tuning in, we've not only got the market update, but I've also got Altcoin Overtime, Metaverse, and Layer 1 heavy. So make sure you don't go anywhere. Now, let's always start off with the gymnastics in stocks. I'm calling it gymnastics because it's up, it's down, it's pulling crypto all around. This is Nasdaq Composite, a group of like 2,000 or 3,000 tech stocks. As you can see, it continues to make lower highs, all right, and it cannot get back above its 21-day moving average. So whether it's Omicron, the infrastructure bill not being passed, or the Fed tightening, it just seems like there's always an excuse for equities to trade poorly. Okay, QQQ is breaking out of the bottom of a diamond. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means if there's a big flush, there could be a 10 or 15% move down in stocks. That's a lot for them, but that would be an absolute gift for crypto, because as you can tell by the way this market trades, people want to own crypto. They want to own it. right? The only thing that's holding them back is the gymnastics in stocks. Tesla, something I've highlighted before. If you're trading Bitcoin, you want to keep an eye on 900 in Tesla because, like it or not, Bitcoin and big stocks move together. Now, let's just talk very simply about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is probably being sold or held down by two factors. One, Bitcoin's been leaving China. And two, there's a big options expiration coming up at the end of the month. People probably made really bullish bets, and some of that bullishness may have to get unwound as expiration approaches. It's pretty complicated, but here's the bottom line. People are selling crypto, not because they think crypto's no good, but because there are just other peculiar reasons. So if there is an event in equities, or if there's this holiday flush that the market's literally been doing for 2 years, right around Western holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter, if you get such a flush, we estimate that there are going to be buyers at 44, 42. My chart work shows the ultimate buy is 40. It's not a prediction that it's going to go down there. But if equities ever did anything to drag Bitcoin down, I think it's going to be met with like robust buying headed into next year. Now, one of the reasons why is Galaxy Digital. Yes, my favorite crypto leading indicator, the stock of the crypto hedge fund, Galaxy Digital. Right now, it's holding nicely on support at 21, despite the bad price action in equities. If Galaxy is okay, crypto is okay. Now, let's do a different look at Ethereum. The green line on this chart is the 21-week moving average. All right, that's sort of a long-term momentum moving average in ETH. Okay, ETH was not able to stay below this level in September. It did spend 5 weeks below it in July. However, in my opinion, if ETH wicks down below 3,800, you have 3,600, you have 3,400, and you have 3,200. Now, I know that's a really big range, but 3,800 should hold as support. And if something happens in equities, I think there are going to be people rushing in right after Christmas to grab Ethereum below the 21-week moving average. It's the simple idea is over the next 8 days, you'll get real direction as to what you want to do in crypto and when. Now, Forrest has got a lot of cool charts, so you want to stay tuned for him because Forrest is actually thinking more now than later. And I really like Forrest's approach. Forrest does crypto specific. He doesn't get too caught up in anything that goes on in legacy, which is good for me and good for you, right? Because you get that pure crypto perspective. So don't go anywhere for Forrest charts. For us, Ethereum, support is real, and I think there are going to be buyers on dips. Switching over, if there is a problem in equities or just kind of a tax loss selling crypto puke, what doesn't look so good, right? The answer to that is long-time 2021 darling Solana, right? Solana rushed up to 191, seems to confirm a head and shoulders top pattern. There's the possibility of a move to 100. Now, it would be a fantastic day if you did get Solana at 100, but the price action that would get you there would be absolutely horrible. So I'm hoping Solana recovers, okay? I do think Luna and Avalanche are kind of eating Solana's lunch here, and that's why Solana is slipping. Total value locked in Solana has been kind of coming off, maybe because it's not EVM compatible, all right? I think the slump in Solana is either an indication that there could be one final flush lower in crypto, or it's just an indication of, Avalanche and Luna are kind of like winner take all for the second half of this year. Okay, speaking of Avalanche, with this coin, you probably get you either get 1 day or a half day before you got to grab it on a dip. Sort of in the middle of the chart, you'll see a yellow square marked October. The last time Avalanche did what it was doing now, where it broke above its 21-day moving average and then came back down, all right, you had about, I don't know, 5 or 6 days before Avalanche just went from 60 to 140 on a rope. I suspect that if there's any dip in Avalanche down to like $98 or even a total Christmas gift would be $85, that buyers are going to be there. Realistically, the way this trades, if you miss a dip, you may have to like ape in. So at least you have part of a position in the event that this thing just honestly goes straight to 150. Okay. So think quick on the dip here. Think quick, because there's a switch going on in the market where everybody who likes Solana is now switching to Avalanche. So while Avalanche being, a good trade is not new news, the fact that Avalanche could be benefiting at the expense of Solana might be new news. Okay, let's look at the Coinbase Pro daily index from our sponsor, tokenmetrics.com, where you can get indices and rankings that help you organize your crypto trading and investing. Noticing that the index is picking up on all the big momentum plays, or all the plays that are not being impacted by legacy. That's Matic, Avalanche, and now Yearn Finance with the buyback. All right. So the market, Mr. Market, is telling you that there are pockets where people want to buy crypto. And if I remember correctly, like in July, like the market just was totally dumping, right? When you have a monster bear market, nothing goes up. Everything just goes down. I think the fact that there are sectors and coins within crypto that still want to go up is indicative of the fact that when the legacy gymnastics are over, hopefully it's over today, but whenever the legacy gymnastics are over, these coins are going to lead rally, and then other coins could catch up. Now, let's just take a look at Yearn as an example of kind of what an awakening looks like in crypto, right? So they do a buyback in Yearn. They're trying to fix the tokenomics. So it's pretty funny. Yearn was one of the big leaders back when DeFi first started. It was the first like shocking moonshot, right? When it originally went up, it's like off the chart now, still to this day. So Yearn got way below its 21-day moving average. People gave up, right? And what happens when people give up? Well, it moons, right? It goes straight up. Notice what happened when Yearn took out the 21-day moving average with gusto. It was gone. So I think when you look at other coins, right, if this market really going to turn around, right, if you are going to get buyers coming in and say, F it, I'm willing to pay higher prices to get crypto, you want to see cryptos ripping through their green 20-day moving average lines, just like on the Yearn chart. Now, speaking of 21-day moving average, the power of this indicator in this market is actually on display with Luna, right? Luna kind of breaks above it, rides it like a surfboard, and then pops up. Okay, Luna, assuming sideways Bitcoin, has a shot at $95. I don't necessarily know that it's a great, FOMO move right now to get long Luna. But that said, it looks like, when Luna wants to move, it kind of likes to move in these big increments. So you could be looking at 95 or 120 for an upside target. All right. Even if that's the case, I still think you have to go with a dip buying mentality. At the end of the day, Luna and Avalanche looks like winner take all in the DeFi space. Matic, a new narrative for a sort of steady chart. All right. I think one of the ways Ethereum is going to stay relevant in an Avalanche-led world is with these layer 2 solutions. So every time I see Avalanche go up and Luna go up, I think it starts to make Matic more important. So while Matic isn't moving and isn't going down, I think it's possible that if you get a dip in Matic to the trend line that I drew at 182, Forrest always has, the deluxe trend lines. But the point is, if there's a flush for some reason unrelated to crypto or related to options expiration, that's an opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to reel some of this in. Because if you understand the narratives behind the coins, then you can understand what and when to buy. Now, pain trade, Polkadot, right? The capitulation that's going on here seems to be pretty epic. It looks like everyone's given up. Multiple support levels didn't hold. So I think with Polkadot, you want to see it get back above 26. Now, one of the ways to analyze Polkadot is to look at how much time it spent below the 21-day moving average during the last correction. So instead of analyzing Polkadot in terms of price, we might look at it in terms of time. So back in the summer, Polkadot spent 60 days below its 21-day moving average before fully recovering. Since Polkadot broke its 21-day moving average in mid-November, the 60-day mark is at January 9th. So whatever Polkadot bulls are putting up with, we may have to continue to put up with it until January 9th, right? Because as the correction unfolds, you don't know if Polkadot's just going to slump and there'll be a give up, or whether it'll go sideways and then turn higher next year. But that January 9th timeframe is something that I would look at for turn in Polkadot. Where it stops on the downside, I don't know. But honestly, unless there's a blow up in the market, like, why would anybody sell interoperability? I did a poll on my Twitter, right? The only response I've gotten so far as to what the biggest surprise of 2022 could be that there's a monster rally in interoperability. DOT, Kusama, related chains and coins associated with that. We have a video on our website done by one of our expert analysts called Profiting from Layer Zeros, talking about Cosmos. I would encourage you to check that out. So while the Polkadot chart kind of looks like crap now, come January, come 2022, I'm wondering if, as that person on Twitter said, and I thank you for that interoperability or layer zero could be the surprise of next year. Speaking of a surprise, hey, if you look at the PERP daily chart, PERP being a derivatives exchange, okay, that runs on the XDAI blockchain, it allows you to stake and share its trading revenues with stakers. PERP has been up 7 days in a row, okay, on daily charts. And I'm noticing when I pulled up a weekly that PERP is actually holding with a nice wick down in recovery right near a support point from where it took off in the summer. One of the things about PERP that's funny is it's not a 100x coin, but if you're staking it, or if you can grab it when it's at the bottom end of its range, PERP can move from 9 to 17 or from 9 to 15, which is better than what you're getting from a lot of other coins. So not investment advice, but really happy to see a very decent looking weekly candle on the PERP weekly chart. Speaking of decent and being happy, the 3-day chart of XRP shows, XRP bulls trying to hold the line at that big support point near 80 cents. Okay. So if you're in XRP, the good news is it was in a range. They crushed it. The bears tried to knock it down and kill it, but then it's coming back. It's trying to come back in the range. Now it's got to come back above 90 cents. So, I don't know if I would get too giddy, but they're posting a green candlestick for a 3-day chart, which is pretty good. So they want to own XRP. And I'm noticing this goes through all of our altcoins. Okay. You want to make sure you stay tuned for Altcoin Overtime that, Altcoins are doing this like, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, right? They're trying to bottom. Now, is XRP the perfect play? I don't know, but somebody wants to pay 80 cents for XRP. I think the same thing's going on with Chainlink. Now, if you look at a weekly chart of Chainlink is experiencing a lot of support on its weekly chart, right where it kind of bottomed from after Destruction Derby back in July. So I'm sitting here wondering, I'm like, okay, well, Chainlink is one of these plays where I don't know if Chainlink's token cares if DeFi is run all on ETH or all on Luna or all on Avalanche. Chainlink may be one of these plays that's just been discarded because people gave up on it. And the value proposition for Chainlink is still out there. Now, DeFi 1.0 has got problems. We've talked about it, but it looks like people want to buy Chainlink at 17. Now, last time you bought Chainlink at 17, it went all the way above 30. So I don't know if that's a prediction as much as it's like, hey, if you can discount, do some discount shopping, take a look at Chainlink. Now, Phantom. So this is really tricky, right? This is one of this year's biggest winners. It can't get above resistance at 171, and it can't get the support at 115. I get this strange feeling that this shrinking range, right, this total stalemate that's been going on, it leads to one of two things. Either more of a stalemate, right, where we just have to sit here and watch grass grow, or it leads to one of these things where it's a V bottom. It just drops more than you think and then spikes and goes, right? A lot of times that's how these boring ranges get resolved unless there's, a fundamental catalyst. So remember back to the Yearn chart, right? Yearn, people gave up, then the catalyst came, then it went up. My guess is in Phantom, if people give up, that's the opportunity to grab it, right? Because right now it's sitting in between support and resistance. Now, I know that people watch recordings of these shows later. So because of a huge wick up, I'm going to an 89-minute chart in NEAR. This is a good example of what I just talked about, right? Like NEAR went from, 850 to 950. And then every single candle was red, all right, for almost a full day before some green came back in. What I think is happening in crypto is Equities is causing certain people, either because they bought it at the wrong level or they made a mistake. And if you're one of those people, don't worry about it. You have company. You have institutional company too. Remember that. So when people start giving up, that's when the green comes in. The question is, how much giving up is left to do? But the NEAR chart is telling you that when people start giving up down to support near 8 something, this intraday chart shows that's where the interest is in NEAR. In other words, the bulls are waiting down there between 8 and 8.5. Now, Cosmos, another quiet interoperability trade. Yeah, it's below the 21-day moving average at 25. It's not getting hammered the way Polkadot is. Polkadot may be getting hammered because people are giving up in favor of faster moving coins on the upside, like Avalanche. Whereas Cosmos is kind of maybe the pure layer 0 play that's kind of doing maybe a stealth bottom, right? That Cosmos will just sit here at 21, maybe wick down, maybe come back. And as that 21-day moving average gets closer and closer and closer to where it's currently trading, that can give you the opportunity, because again, if the 2022 surprise is layer 0, you want to watch Polkadot in early January. You want to watch Cosmos now. You want to subscribe to tokenmetrics.com to see all of the good layer 0 coins or the Polkadot and Kusama universe coins on our site. And if you do nothing else, you definitely want to check out my colleague Mehdi's video about layer 0 and how to understand and make money with interoperability. Cardano, another give up trade. I think if you look at the move in Cardano from $1.70 to $1.20, it looks just like the down move in Yearn Finance that occurred before Yearn turned around and there was a rally. Now, Cardano was a big YouTube trade. Obviously, people are trapped, but it looks like the selling, the puking has stopped, and it's making some kind of a base near the July lows at $1.20. I know this may be kind of like late to the game, but I'm sort of wondering in Cardano if a surprise for 2022 is that not only does Cardano wake up, but maybe Cardano actually has, it becomes operational and relevant rather than just a spec play, right? So this thing has been destroyed, and it's either going to just sit here or there's going to be an opportunity on a wick down to grab some of this stuff, because you don't want to buy it at 3, but you want to buy it when it was at 3 and it's now at 1.2. And that is the market update. Stay tuned for Altcoin Overtime later in the show. Don't go anywhere. All right, Forrest.
Thanks for the market update, Bill. All right, so we got a couple questions in the chat. One being about Mana, and I got one comment that was like saying we said to buy the Metaverse at all-time high, and just to clear that up, a breakout play is a completely valid play in very many cases, right? And the key thing about buying the all-time high, buying the breakout, is that you use a stop loss. Yes, if you bought the breakout on Mana here and didn't use a stop loss, you got wrecked. You got completely wrecked. But the key word is the key thing is when Mana breaks out against its all-time high, you throw in a stop loss, absolutely, just right under its previous all-time high. And then if you're wrong and Mana doesn't go ballistic again, you get stopped out all the way up here. You get stopped out or all the way up here, right? And you get to ride it being stable coins. You get your money back out at your stop loss. You get to ride it all the way back down here to our entry point at the bottom. So the first thing I want to go over first is Mana, then we'll kind of zoom out from Mana, because we got this question about how does Decentraland look right now? Decentraland looks extremely bullish, and I'm going to break down exactly why, right? So first we got our 50% correction all the way down to our 2x margin pressure level. This is where the incentive to sell or to short Mana completely dissipated. Completely went away, caused a bounce, not once, not twice, but 3 times in this region. Personally, this is where I entered, $2.98. We got this initial bounce, and I started to see the green price action come in, and I got in at $2.98. Now, could I have sold up here or up here? Yeah, and taken a small profit, right? On 3x leverage, that would have been a 30% trade, or even let's see, even an opportunity to take a 66% trade, right? But I haven't sold yet because Mana is looking very, very bullish. And if I'm a buyer at $2.98, when it comes all the way down, I don't want to be a seller at this exact same level, especially when we're making higher lows and higher highs. Higher lows and higher highs. Now, here's the thing with Mana is if you didn't buy down here on these entry points, on the horizontal support, or on the bump and run, like we've been talking about, putting yourself in a bit of a tricky circumstance right now, because you're putting yourself in a circumstance where we could see a head and shoulders form on the 4-hour, right? And this head and shoulders would probably be the byproduct of Bitcoin getting some resistance in its structure that we're about to break down, and potentially going down to either retest 46K like it did earlier today, or going as low as 44, 42K. That could manifest in Mana going lower, right? So altcoins are trading a little bit in line with Bitcoin, but the difference is the quality altcoins are pumping when Bitcoin moves up just a little bit. When Bitcoin moves up just a little bit, Bitcoin's up 1.27% today. Right, Mana's up 1.5%, Luna's up 3%, putting in all-time highs today. AVAX up 7%, Helium up 7%. So when Bitcoin's giving up a little bit of room and looking just the slightest bit bullish, the altcoins, the quality altcoins, are using that as an opportunity to pump. Right. So one of the first things I said after we crashed on December 4th was that Bitcoin is probably going to consolidate onto 46K, at or around 46K. And that is exactly what has happened. We've tested below 46K 3 times now. All 3 times we've gotten pumps off of this 46K test. The reason why we're getting these pumps is because as soon as Bitcoin's price drops below $46,000, that's where the sell pressure dissipates. You can't short Bitcoin on 3x leverage and hide your liquidation point above its all-time high, right? Once the Bitcoin price drops below 46K, right? We've got tons of trend lines. This looks like a busy chart, but what you want to watch for a macro reversal here in Bitcoin, right? And I still think that altcoins are going to continue to do well. Some specific altcoins will continue to do well, even if Bitcoin spills off, right? Because I believe we're in a bit of a decoupling, bit of a divergent market. We're seeing altcoins break out, right? We're still, in my opinion, in an altcoin bull market until we see altcoin market dominance break the structure that we're about to look at in just a second. But for Bitcoin, if you want to see an overall macro reversal in Bitcoin, there's a couple levels you want to watch out for. You want to watch out for the breaking of this trend line, this downtrend line, which we're on the 4-hour chart here. If I zoom out, it becomes very, very clear. This is the consolidation, right? This is our consolidation onto 46K off of, right, this December 4th drop. These highs, we want to break this downtrend line. We also want to make a higher high. So if off of this pump, you see Bitcoin go above $48,289, which would have been the last local high, and break through this downtrend line, that would be very, very bullish in the short term for Bitcoin, meaning that it can likely continue on higher. If we get rejected at either this level, 48,200, or at this downtrend line, expect for us to go back down and probably test 46K again, which could result in a drop below. The good news is that with this drop, most recent drop to 46K, even though it was very close, if we zoom in here, we actually made a slightly higher low. And essentially what we have here is, the wicks come down to slightly different amounts, but it's roughly speaking a triple bottom on the 4-hour. Triple bottoms are usually pretty bullish. However, we are still in a bearish pattern of lower highs, even though we've been making even lows. Now, if we zoom out here a little bit, where would I expect Bitcoin to come down to if we do breach 46K? 44K. We'd probably jump down to 44K and find a bounce. If Bitcoin breaks down to 44K, that is the simultaneous level in which you're going to be wanting to, to look out for several altcoin entries, right? A drop in Bitcoin from where it's at today, if I can get my indicator here, our measurement tool, would only be 6 or 7%. It would only take a 6 or 7% drop for Bitcoin to get to 44K. That's not very much. Bitcoin could absolutely do that. From the 46K level that we were at earlier this morning, it would be a 4% drop, right? So that could be what gives you better entry points on Mana, on Luna, on AVAX, potential pullbacks. Now, I'm not terribly worried about the market right now. In fact, I'm actually pretty greedy right now. You want to be greedy? You want to be greedy down here, and you want to be fearful up here, right? If you're feeling fear right now, it's in large part probably due to some sort of mismanagement of risk in your portfolio. If you're feeling fear, you're probably too exposed or have too much risk in some way or another. This is total cryptocurrency market cap. This is something that I like to show almost every time I do a segment. And that's because This parabolic increase, this parabolic move upwards in 2017 was preceded or interrupted halfway in between by two almost 50% corrections. Almost 50% corrections followed up by a parabolic move up to $836 billion in total cryptocurrency market cap. Now, if we look and zoom in over here, our most recent corrections have been 38%, and the one we're in now was kind of peaked at 34%. So we know that we can drop up to 50% and still see a parabolic rally. So I'm personally wanting to take advantage of these 30, 40% corrections, especially when speculation in the market in terms of altcoins is still very, very high. Altcoin dominance hasn't flinched. In fact, it's been going up. It's broken out of this multi-month consolidation pattern. It's come up above this continuation pattern, made support on top of it, yet another bump and run pattern, and looks to be either consolidating up here into a breakout or potentially back downwards. I think it's far more likely that we see in a second alt season, we see altcoins break upwards from here. If you look at TVL, Avalanche TVL sitting very, very healthily has recently flipped Solana's TVL. I know this is small here. I can try to zoom in, but $12.73 billion locked in the Avalanche ecosystem right now. Terra Luna, $17.66 billion locked in Terra Luna, predominantly in Anchor protocol and liquid staking protocols, right? $7.5 billion and $5.23 billion respectively. That's very bullish. This doesn't happen in a bear market, right? People are calling bear market, but we're seeing parabolic growth in the TVL on Terra Luna. That just isn't characteristic of a bear market at all. In fact, it's making me very bullish. Solana has been slipping in TVL. And my belief on that is probably because Solana is not EVM compatible at the moment. And right now, EVM compatibility is a big benefactor towards layer one solutions, right? I know Terra Luna isn't either, but it's kind of more in stable coins, right? I want to go through just a couple more entry points. Terra Luna putting in an all-time high today, despite the market, despite Bitcoin testing a low today around 46K, right? We want to be taking advantage of these dips and these bump and run patterns. We don't have to overcomplicate it. Anybody can draw these trend lines. Anybody can come in and identify, right, when a downtrend is broken. When a downtrend is broken, that's a very bullish sign. Terra Luna broke its downtrend, moving up higher. Now, you could justify jumping into Terra Luna as a trade. Now, keep in mind, because we are overextended against our long-term trend line in total cryptocurrency market cap. Personally, I like to be thinking in shorter term timeframes. I like to be jumping in and out with small portions of my portfolio, right? I have a larger hodling value investing portfolio that I'm not touching right now. I'm just hodling, letting it do its work, right? Letting the value investments accrue value over time. But I also have a trading portfolio where I'm looking to jump in and out. Currently in Terra Luna, got in down at this, lower than that. Got it down here at $39, right? Sold half at 75, jumped back in at $54, right? Currently holding, looking at these price targets of $90 and $120, right? If you didn't get into Terra Luna, you could absolutely justify trading the breakout. But again, like I said at the beginning of the segment, you put a stop loss in below the previous all-time high, right? So it looks like right now on the 4-hour chart, Terra Luna has broken above, made a new all-time high, right? Where's it probably going to come down to? Probably making support on its previous all-time high at roughly $78, $79. So if we get some confirmation on that level, and we start to see it go up again, we start to see some green candles start printing after $78, yes, you can jump in, but where would you want to put your stop loss? Down here, like I said, probably a pretty tight stop loss, down here at $77, $76, so that if Bitcoin goes down to 44K, or if Terra Luna is just too overextended and is due for a 33% correction, you get stopped out. You get stopped out, and then you can rebuy down here at these support levels, right, if it comes down. AVAX, reverse head and shoulders here we go, zoomed out. Reverse head and shoulders pattern is in play right now. We had our left shoulder our head down here, our left shoulder, our head, and we appear to have completed our right shoulder or be completing our right shoulder. We could come down here and test this level a little bit. But if we break out above, say, $117, this previous high over here, and we make a new higher high, that would be extremely bullish for AVAX and would very likely be followed up by a pump above previous all-time highs, right? So this pattern, measuring your downtrend line, watching for the breakout, looking for support on the other side of it, bump and run over and over and over again, has proven with solid cryptocurrencies to be very, very profitable, right? You could have bought on this downtrend line earlier today at about $102, and you're already up 12, 13%. If you're trading on 2 or 3x leverage, that's a 36+% trade, right? Just very, very basic technical analysis here to be very, very profitable in an otherwise volatile market. I want to go over Matic. As Bill mentioned, this is the last one I'm going to go over before we jump into Crypto Showdown and Altcoin Overtime with Bill. Buying on the trend line. Guys, if you tuned into the live stream last week and the week before, what was I saying? I was saying buy on the trend line with Matic. We're on the trend line. It's very profitable historically to buy on the trend line. It's Matic, in this case, has given us tons of opportunities to buy on the trend line. There's no guarantee that it's going to give us another opportunity to buy in the trend line. But if it does, I'll be down here. I'll be buying on the trend line as long as this trend line is valid. Could we break this trend line and go lower? Yes, absolutely. But that's why you throw in a stop loss, right? To stop your loss. In the meantime, you're able to take profits when it bounces. You're able to take profits and pay yourself when it bounces. These have all been very, very profitable trades if you bought on the trend line, right? So what if you buy on the trend line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you've had 6 profitable trades. So what if on the 7th time you get stopped out for, whoops, I can grab my tool here, for 15%. So you get stopped out for 15% one time, but you made 30% on this trade, 40% on this trade, right? 20, 30% on this trade, 15% on that trade, 5% on each of these trades. You've made 2 or 3x just trading, especially if you're trading on leverage, and you get stopped out once. And that's just from buying on a trend line. There's nothing fancy about this. This is just being smart, picking good projects, and buying on the trend line, right? Or buying on these support levels as it comes back down to test at $1.72, right? We use our margin pressure levels to know where's it going to be safe to buy or where's the lowest risk place to buy. $1.72, the overlap of our uptrend line, right? Our trend line and our margin pressure level, right? So I know a lot of people, when the price action's headed down, everybody likes to be bearish and everyone gets afraid. But what I'm trying to say here in the segment is that if you can identify strong support levels in good projects, you can actually set yourself up to be quite profitable. Now, buying Matic at $2.16, to be quite honest, it does not look nearly as attractive to me. At $1.74, it's very attractive. At $2.16, I don't really want to buy it. I want to wait for it to come back down to this trend line, and I'll buy it all day at $1.88, right? But if you haven't been buying this trend line, just know that this could be the time that it breaks, right? But you want to be buying it every time so that if you're right 7 out of 8 times, or you're only wrong 1 out of 8 times, you're profitable. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. These are the levels that I'm personally looking out for, and I've got skin in the game, guys. I'm trading these. I'm literally in a Luna trade. I'm in a Mana trade. I'm in a Sandbox trade. I'm in a Matic trade, and I'm using these levels. So these are the levels. If I lose money, if you lose money, I'm losing money too, right? I'm getting stopped out. But if you're making money, I'm making money too. These are the levels that I'm personally using. All right, back over to Bill with Altcoin Overtime. Unless we want to do Crypto Showdown first. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, let's take Crypto Showdown.
All right, let's go back to Crypto Showdown. AVAX, Terra Luna, Decentraland. What's your thought, Bill?
You know, I just don't think I don't think they can stop Avalanche.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's just there's something going on there where that coin and that ecosystem is being it's trading like it's mispriced.
Absolutely. I'm bullish on Avalanche as well. Short term, I'm very bullish on Decentraland Mana, just based off of its price structure of that doing that bump and run, making higher highs and higher lows. It looks like it's just ready to explode. However, Terra Luna TVL is just going absolutely parabolic, and it's printing new all-time highs. So if I had to jump into one right now, I think Decentraland. I think Decentraland, because it's coming off of a 50% correction, right? I'm bullish on AVAX and I'm bullish on Terra Luna, but Luna did just make an all-time high, and I don't love jumping in stuff at the all-time high. I know I talked about that potential breakout trade where you put in a tight stop loss. AVAX absolutely just feels unstoppable, but I'm going to go with Decentraland just because I feel like there's a little bit more meat left on the bone. It's got a longer ways to go before it gets back up to its all-time high. So let's see what the audience thinks. AVAX, you were right, Bill. I agree. AVAX is looking very, very tough right now. All right. Do we want to jump into altcoin overtime?
Yes, absolutely. All right, friends, here comes Altcoin Overtime, starting with the confessions of a Metaverse trader. So as somebody pointed out, okay, I may have been a little bit too enthusiastic near the top of the Metaverse trade. Understood. The difference between this show and other shows is that we give you scenarios and we try to help you whether we're right or whether we're wrong. Okay, we try to be right more often than not. Now, with that said, the Metaverse, okay, Forrest is a great trader, okay, and an analyst, and I'm more of like the pure analyst and talking head. So I want to talk about themes. Now, over the weekend, there was a nice pop in the Metaverse because Goldman Sachs, okay, a big investment bank, came out and says the Metaverse must run on a blockchain, okay? Heralds crypto as a huge disruptor. Now, that's really interesting because undoubtedly investment banks do business with Facebook or Meta. So this is a very bold call or a very bold little article about Goldman's comments. Now, one other thing I want to note, being a former Goldman employee and knowing analysts who write these type of reports, is that there's a cross flow of information. Right? And analysts will ask customers, hey, what are you looking at? Hey, what do you think? So not only is it Goldman making a judgment, and those people are smart, but it's the people Goldman is talking to that may also agree with this line of thinking. Bottom line is, Metaverse enthusiasm or Metaverse as a sector play, right, could be another surprise of 2022. The only question is, where's the trade location? That's the big problem with the Metaverse, right? It was all the way up. Now, most of it is correcting. You don't know whether what's correcting is just going to go to zero and then there'll be another trade, or whether you can actually get some discounts near Christmas in the Metaverse. So with that said, let's jump into altcoin overtime. Total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin, very similar to Ethereum. Okay, very similar to Ethereum's weekly chart. The 21-day moving average is the green line. Note, this measure of total crypto market cap without Bitcoin has tested the 21-day moving average, now going on 4 consecutive weeks. This to me does not look like a market where everybody's giving up and it's just going to avalanche lower like it did back in May. It looks like there's buyers below. And I think that's, your Lunas, your avalanches, but I also think there's going to eventually be the bid for the Metaverse. Now, that said, before I dive in, let me just say the same type of thing I said at the top in Decentraland. If you get involved in the Metaverse, you have to use stops. Yes, it could wind up being the biggest trade ever, but it doesn't help you if you lose all your capital in a correction. Now let's talk about Gala Gaming. So some really good information about how big this coin and this sort of part of the metaverse could be. I have good support at 35 cents. The market doesn't seem to want to get down there. However, that's not going to make me impatient. Now, I would love it if all these coins just broke out and we could rock on to the upside. All right. But in this case, I'm saying, all right, what would be the best level to get this at? So like what Forrest said about Matic. It's not that Forrest doesn't like Matic. It's just that there are levels where he'd be more interested than buying than not, right? For me, with Gala, it's 35 cents, right? Now, if there's a breakout above 50, okay, that could be game on. Otherwise, what does it hurt to wait for a flush? Okay, Engine Coin, very interesting. Speaking of the flush here could have been today in this particular coin. So I'm noticing that there seems to be more demand for the bigger coins, right? So, new low for the move here, minus that crazy wick down, and they're bringing it back. So there seems to be buyers in ENJ below 236. Now, if there is ever a chance to get it below 2, okay, that's kind of the ultimate trade. This is one of the coins that's going to have to prove that there is such a thing as buying the metaverse on a dip outside of Sandbox and Decentraland. Now, I think there is, right? Because, we talked about it, and then the investment banks are talking about it, about the metaverse being a mega trend. And as with all mega trends, as with the internet, right? The internet went through a 2-year bear market. The internet bear market was so bad when Google IPO'd, I believe, in 2004, nobody wanted to touch it. Like Warren Buffett said, oh, internet stock, I'll pass. Okay. So with mega trends and new narratives comes, extreme volatility that has to be managed. Somebody was talking about Casper in the comments. Always want to acknowledge that we hear what you have to say, both good and bad. In the case of Casper, right, it was very enthusiastic that there was the breakout, but tax loss selling kicked in. Now, it's below the 21-day moving average. I can draw a trend line with support at 10 cents. I would definitely not want to see Casper spending time below 10 cents because I'd be concerned about a year-end give-up trade. So if bulls were ever going to come in, they got to come in now. I know I said that at 14 cents. So I said at 14 cents, I was like, it would be a good idea. Now bulls have to come in at 10 cents because if they don't, well, then this thing could be broken for the rest of the year. Fingers crossed for those who are trapped in this that it comes back. Okay, Hathor, HTR. Interesting to note that there are altcoins breaking out. Notice how this moved through the green wavy line. That's the 21-day moving average. So when this thing went through its 21-day, right, it just went. It retested it, and then it was gone. So this is less about, FOMOing into this particular coin, although somebody did ask for it, and it does look good if it holds above 180. The most important point is to understand what does the market or what does my coin look like? How do I know it's turned? Like, is the metaverse just going to continue to go lower? Is Bitcoin going to take out 40, right? How do you know? Well, you know that it's game on the upside when it goes knifing through the 21-day moving average. Now, speaking of that, ticker symbol SYS, sitting quietly on the 21-day after a probe below it. Okay, this coin has been probing below the 21-day moving average a couple different times, and when it's recovered, it's actually done well. So there probably is year-end profit taking here, but I'm always interested to see what these sort of new coins do regarding their 21-day moving average. MetaHero, this is probably kind of an expanding accumulation cone. So either, 2 cents to 26 cents was it, and you've got to find a new trade because that may be the way it is in the metaverse, or What I'm hoping is the surprise is you can buy any type of capitulation event in these coins, right? So if you get the good trade location, take it, right? Use a stop, right? But you can take the trade and hope that if you get a diversified group of metaverse coins, like if you lean on Sand and Decentraland the way you would lean on Bitcoin or Ethereum, then grabbing any of these coins on the dip, and you know what? Hopefully the dip's over today, right? Hopefully it's done. But if there's one big flush lower in Bitcoin, you have to understand that there's more risk, obviously, in these smaller coins. So as Forrest says, make them sell it to you at really cheap prices, right? When do you want to buy the mega trend? When it's massively on sale. Okay, now Sand, speaking of that, looks like it's making a sort of like, I don't know, it reminds me of like the bigger the base, the higher in the space, meaning there's a bid at 4 and it doesn't really want to get down to sort of like $4.34. Every time it tries to pop down, somebody's coming in and buying it. So maybe the metaverse trade becomes kind of like layer ones, right? Where it's like ETH, Solana, Avalanche, Phantom, Near, etc. Cardano. Maybe there's like 5 or 6 big survivors. Remember, Sandbox is considered big, okay, in the crypto world. If you look at market cap of Sandbox, it would only be like a small cap stock in the equities world. So Sandbox may be just sort of biding its time because it's almost like the Bitcoin or Ethereum of the metaverse, right? And if there are wicks down below, there are opportunities. And if the whole market falls apart and it goes to 4, then that's your chance to get in. Okay, Decentraland. I would personally like to see Decentraland above $3.60. Okay, that said, if you go back to Forrest section, he is clearly showing you that even though this on a daily chart looks to be in a tight range, there are trading opportunities. And these coins are, when they break trend lines, they return to the trend lines and then they bounce. So if you get a little bit surgical and you get in there and you look at the intraday price action at things like Decentraland and Sandbox, they are giving you trading opportunities. And I think that the fact that the trading opportunities are working, right? What do I always say about bull markets? You have to be able to buy a dip and make money. Now, in this case, it's traders with Forrest level of tactical skill that are pulling in the coins as they recover. As they decline, okay, and picking them up to allow them to move higher, right? All right, next chart is Tencent. Very interesting, okay? So we're moving into like low quality coins that are being talked about online. So I'm going to be very neutral in how I talk about it. But it looks like in some of these like metaverse connected coins that you're like, this is making a base. So this shot way up, right? Did nothing. Then it took out the top of its range, came back and retested it. So in these type of coins, if you see follow through, remember what I was talking about, the 21-day moving average? You want to see something break out, retest, and go. If you see that, then you have a coin or a market, okay, that's turning favorable. That may not be subject to the whims of equities. Now, that said, if you can't get the type of breakout that you're seeing here, no matter what happens to this coin, it's a great example. Get the confirmed breakout, right? Or get it at a confirmed discount before you act. Okay? Ticker symbol QIU. I believe this comes from the AVAX DeFi universe. Okay? I'm noticing people giving up maybe around 16 cents. So ETH DeFi protocols are not the only place where people seem to be kind of giving up a little, right? Support on this is around 16 cents. And again, I think this chart in particular is just, it's telling you that all the value from all the activity that occurs on the layer ones is going to be accrued and earned or reflected in the token price of the layer ones. Now, Wax, both a metaverse and an NFT play, okay, 32 cents is a big level. That would represent the unwind of the entire rally up. I am noticing that there were wicks and buyers down there at 40 cents. So if something goes from 20 to 95 cents and then comes back to either 40 or 32 cents, if you're trying to build a diversified portfolio, checking tokenmetrics.com after the decline or when the thing starts turning up may be the way to go. But some of these things, I'm bringing them to your attention because if there's a flush lower, in my opinion, this is an opportunity because most of the time in altcoins, it's all the way up, all the way down, crash. That's it for 3 years. My thinking is if there's another flush lower in the metaverse, it's an opportunity. Okay. Neo's credits, something I'm hearing a lot about. Okay. Probably because it went from 50 cents to $10. This is a 4-hour chart and it traded in an absolutely wild range. Now, when you have these type of price appreciations in a short amount of time, the FOMO, I think, is incredible, right? There are all these coins this year that have gone from, 2 cents to $20. And I think there's a temptation to want to buy the dip, say at $5. Now, should you do that or should you not do that? Well, it's not investment advice, particularly in coins like this. But when I see this type of price action, and I'm looking at this in like Phantom, ticker symbol KAD, and all these other massive moonshots, I want to see people buying the dip. So if this coin hits 5 and turns around and bounces back to 7 or 8, that could be a sign that the whole rest of the metaverse, right, is ripe to be bought. But this is a good example of let the bigger players come in and buy it. Don't FOMO into the trade of the day or the Twitter trade of last week, right? Make the market show you that it's a good investment. Okay, GNO, I believe this is in some of our indices, is actually hanging out around the 21-day moving average. Very interesting price action here because it went way up and now it's kind of forming a new base. So I'm wondering if there is a possibility of a catalyst in this particular coin because this price action to me seems interesting. There's support at 433 and there's support at 400. So if that holds, okay, that could be an opportunity for bulls to come in with a stop because if you look at the chart closely, you can see they've already sort of done the flush. They've already run stops in this coin. So there may be another opportunity to grab this for a turn up. Starlink, very similar, a liquidity event in the form of a flush, okay, below support from back in mid-November. The question is there volume going back and forth in this coin because people are packing it in and giving up? Or is there volume coming into these coins because people are interested in buying the dip for another leg higher? Now, I think a lot of this is going to depend on the big caps, right? This type of a coin is not going to go up by itself, obviously, right? But I think these small coins can give you hints as to whether or not the crypto, any bullish sentiment can spread out, right? It's not going to be a monster bull market without these smaller coins getting it together. So you can have huge layer one rallies. The question is, will the Starlinks of the world confirm any potential bullish move in the bigger coins? Now, one of the smaller coins that we like, and hopefully you stay tuned for this, is Rmrk. Hey, this is a metaverse coin. Okay, very, very low dollar valuation relative to other metaverse coins, but good growth potential according to our analysts. So 32 is a support point. Now, this thing was at 60. Okay, it's now got a 50% off sale. I guess if it falls apart, 22 is the next level. That would represent a complete unwind of the November moonshot. So at either 32 or 22, all right, the bulls hopefully show up. And after they've showed up and said, okay, yeah, this is good now, right? Then you can move in. Or you can move in and put a stop down below, right? Because again, as Forrest said, when do you want to buy stuff that you think has a future, right? Do you want to buy it when it's up 100% or when it's down 50%? Okay, Vulcan Forged, kind of the ultimate example of, unfortunately, what will happen to other metaverse coins, which is why we advocate using a stop and buying quality on the dip, right? This went from 8 to 48. Now it's holding at $16.50, right? If that doesn't hold, the next level is 9, right? And actually, if 16.5 doesn't hold, it's probably game over for the coin. Let's hope that's not true, right? Because, I want to see coins that have negative fundamental news recover, right? You want to cheer for crypto. You want the metaverse to be decentralized. So either 16.5 or 9 is the level to watch in Vulcan. Okay, TLM, something very similar where you could be looking at like a give up trade near 17 cents, right? When people give up, that's the level to start looking. Now, the 21-day moving average is all the way up at 26 cents. So if this is your coin and this is your game, you want to see that full turnaround through the 21-day moving average, right? You want to know it's good. Right now, support at 17 cents is decent. D-Race, a token that is kind of a competitor to NFT project Zedrun. Zedrun has the game all fully functional, ready to go. D-Race was able to ride Metaverse FOMO all the way up to 8 and is now sitting, right on top of or just below support at $3.35. Okay, when it comes to this type of coin, especially since I know a little bit about Zedrun, you want to see this coin really prove itself and get back above $4 before I would catch the falling knife in these cases. Okay. Fear, an NFT play. Very interesting how this goes from 50 cents to $4 and then literally goes straight down. So in the metaverse, we're going to find out. Is it over? Is that it? Are we done? Like, does the metaverse just pump and dump and then you move to the next trade? I certainly hope not, right? Because again, I think it's a mega trend. So that's either going to be Sandbox and Decentraland and 5 other coins. So that's why I'm going through a whole bunch of them so you can get a look and you can try and study ones that you think are interesting. Now, with the way this is going down, it almost feels like there's something wrong with it. But if it holds at $1, do you want to buy a metaverse coin at $4 or $1? Okay. Now, really stepping out onto the fringe. I believe this is called Yushi. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. An unbelievable example of this huge, moonshot, and then this slow kind of death. Now, I noted where support point is. There's almost too many zeros here for me to follow it. All right. I put this coin in here and I'm going to watch this because I want to see if something moons and ever comes back, right? This and Vulcan, right? And also Wax, right? In other words, do metaverse coins moonshot or is it just high quality and then garbage coins come out until there's a garbage coin that's not garbage, right? Is the metaverse play Sandbox and Decentraland and something we don't know yet? Or can you value invest? Well, I don't have all the answers, but I bet you're going to get a lot of information from these type of charts over the next couple months. Now, just as a reminder, KuCoin weekly index, okay, Terra, Matic, right, and Argon is in there, okay? Also of note, not only do our weekly indices help you, because again, if Metaverse and layer ones recover, they're going to start popping into our indexes. They're going to start moving up in our rankings. So you may be sitting there going, Bill, okay, thank you for going through all those charts, but when do I make the move? Like, how do I know things might be turning around? Well, you can watch token metrics rankings. You can watch token metrics indices, right? I'm looking at the rankings here. If you look in the top left, it's got an underlying bar under smart contract platforms. Okay. You can look up and see what are the top ranked smart contract platforms as of now. Now, it's not new news that Luna and Avalanche and Polygon are in there, but I also see Dusk Network with a market cap rank of 282. And look what I see with Dusk breaking above the 21-day moving average late November, breaking above its prior high from March, retesting it, and then bouncing above above resistance at 52 cents. Dusk Network has been in the smart contract rankings for a couple of days. I'm putting it in here because there are going to be opportunities in smaller cap, layer ones, emerging metaverse, and old metaverse, right? So how are you going to sort all this out? Well, obviously tune in, like and subscribe with us, but don't forget about tokenmetrics.com. Don't spend all the Christmas money on Christmas presents. Give yourself the gift of token metrics. Now, looking at stake, we're above the 21-day moving average in what I would call an accumulation cone. So when you have these coins, right, that are doing this upward sloping sort of range, this is what Luna did before it broke out. Now, I know stake is not Luna. I know. All right. I know that. But if the accumulation cone formation continues to work, stake is closer to the bottom than the top, making it somewhat intriguing. Okay. Harmony, another example of what you want to see. So Harmony goes down, it turns around, it glides up to the 21-day, it breaks it, retests it, and then bounces, right? This is what you want to see when something is good. So it's happening in select coins. You want to see it happening in big coins, right? A lot of people ask me, hey, Bill, what's the technical analysis secret? Well, there is no technical analysis secret. But one of the best things to use when you're trying to figure out whether the correction is over or if this is just another bull trap and equities are going to get you and, you know, the metaverse is, I don't know, your classic all the way up and 90% down. How do you know? 21-day moving average, token metrics rankings. Now, Elrond, you thought we forgot about you out there. Of course, I didn't. Okay, Elrond was up at 520. Forrest had a great sell call on Elrond at 520. Okay, it flashed up to 309, right to the 21-day moving average, and it failed. It failed. So either Elrond is going to sit here near 250 the way it did between September and November, or, you know, you'll get a 66% off sale with a move down to 178. So this doesn't look like it's going to totally blow up. But as with anything else, you're either buying it when it proves itself or you're waiting for a possible big discount near Christmas or year end. I know somebody's going to ask about VeChain, right? This is the 2021 heartbreaker for me. 7 cents is support. I would almost call 7 cents like the last stand. I'd be afraid of what happened if 7 didn't hold. I know the old lows are at 5, right? Really, in order for VeChain to recover, it's got to get above 9 cents. Now, there's always a lesson because I'm a storyteller and an analyst. The lesson of VeChain, a lot of people say, oh, crypto's going into a bear market. People, there are components of crypto. Some are trading well, but there are huge components of crypto that have already been in the bear market, right? Some of this stuff, you know, I mean, if it goes down anymore, it's going to go to zero. Like VeChain is in that group. So my hope is that VeChain recovers above 9 cents. But for anybody to say that, you know, crypto is like sky high and wildly overvalued, I don't know. There's a lot of destruction in crypto, in the internals, as they say in equities, just like there is in stocks. And that, friends, is altcoin overtime.
Thank you, Bill. We had somebody come in with a super chat to ask about Sol. So I'll cover some TA on Sol. I'm not super familiar with the project, but fundamentally, but I can always do TA on it. So we've got Sol USDT here, and this is Sol as in Phantasma Tether. So I hope I've got the correct ticker here. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking for a reversal. So we've got the first signs of the first signs of a reversal here, in that we broke our downtrend, right? We found our support at our 2x short level, right? $4 was up here. We got a 50% dip. We tested below it, but as price dropped below $2, the leveraged buying bought it back up, right? So we had our 50% correction. This was the place to get in, right? And then your next place to get in was again on $2 or on the bump and run, the support of the downtrend line. Since we've accomplished this bump and run here, we're consolidating. We're consolidating, and this does to me look like a breakout. However, or a breakout waiting to happen. We've got on the 4-hour candles today, 4 very, very, very strong looking candles, some buy pressure coming in. Very small green candles and starting to expand with more volume coming in. Overall, looks pretty good. If I was to be trading this, I would be looking for the breakout above this downtrend line in its consolidation pattern, right? And I'd also be looking to potentially be a buyer at $2 if I was really wanting to get in. However, I will say that if we do drop down to $2, it could be a little bit bearish because then we'd be making a lower low, right? And we've already tested these $2 levels twice, right? So depending on what the rest of the market does, I'd just keep a close eye on it. And depending on whether you're trying to trade this or look at it for a longer term value investment entry, I would just be looking for this, the break of the downtrend line, and look for some support on top of it. That price would be very similar to the price we're seeing right now at $2.18. However, it would be after the confirmation of the downtrend reversal and the support down here. All right, so with that, let's jump into a little Q&A session. I'll stop sharing my screen here, and we'll go through a couple questions. Where do you recommend for leveraged trading if you're based in the U.S.? Well, U.S. has regulations in place that make that trading on leverage quite difficult. There are a couple different options that you may have. You could always trade with a VPN. I'm not recommending anybody do that. Always follow the laws in your jurisdiction. Also, you could look into some decentralized exchanges like Perp and DYDX, both really, really solid perpetual leverage trading options. Will Luna give us another chance to buy? What levels are you looking to buy Luna? Well, right now it's really unclear because Luna's pushing towards all-time highs. So the way I do technical analysis is that and I'm pulling up the Luna chart here just very briefly. I'll share my screen once more. Right, I'm looking for retracements off of the all-time high. So if we get stopped here, and I don't know that we will, I think we could actually move up higher, right? But if we did get stopped here, I'd be looking for these 33% corrections that Luna's been doing recently. And that could bring us all the way back down to our more recent low of $54. So I'm really not that interested in Luna for much more expensive than $54. Now, if Luna does come up here to, let's say, $120, which is one of my take profit targets, I'd be happy to jump back in at potentially where we're at right now, $79, $78 at this all-time high, this 33% correction here. Okay. So off of this, I really don't want to get in unless it were to come all the way back down to like this $54 mark that it was at the other day, which is personally where I bought it. You just have to take advantage. And guys, it's okay to miss stuff. You have to understand it is okay to miss stuff. If you're just itching because you think Luna is going to go absolutely nuts and go to $120, which very well could, but you don't have the prime entry point and you don't want to trade the breakout with a tight stop loss, then your options are limited. With crypto, the benefit you get to being early or on time, rather, is that you get the better entry points. If you're late, the risk you take is that you have to throw in a tight stop loss and trade the breakout and buy at an all-time high. It's just unfortunate. That's the punishment for not buying early on before all of this, solid price action history has come in. All right, we'll go to the next question here. And the next question is, what platform or service do you recommend for trading equities and crypto in a retirement account? I'm having trouble finding a place that offers both. That is a question that I do not know the answer to. Bill, do you have any recommendations on exchanges or platforms that allow you to trade equities and crypto?
Yeah, I would say that's going to be pretty challenging. I think you're going to have to keep equities in the equities world and trade crypto ETFs in those accounts, or you're going to have 2 separate IRAs.
Gotcha. Any update on the book sale NFT? I don't have specific timelines, but I know the team is working hard on it and have not forgotten about it. Daily Hodl did a bullish article recently on HTR. I'm guessing that's Hathor. Given that it is a Web3 project and has an upcoming halving soon, would love to hear an assessment of the coin from Bill and Forrest. I believe Bill just did a little bit of TA on Hathor. From a fundamental perspective, we can have our investment analyst, Mike, take a look at it and see how it scores in our fundamental and code review process. And could you please chat paid network? Is it dead? Bill, do you want to look at paid network from TA, or I can pull it up before you can?
Yeah, why don't
fundamentally,
you
I'm not super. Oh, go ahead, Bill.
No, take a shot at the charts. I'll try to pull it up too. Go ahead.
So I'm looking at paid network versus wrapped ETH right now, and I've got to share my screen here. I'm not seeing a USD or stablecoin pairing. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it looks very, very beat up. It looks very beat up. If we take against Ethereum, it's down 95%. If I had an allocation towards this, unless this was something that I don't want to trade this in the short term. I just think there's better options. There's big layer one. I like trading, large cap cryptocurrencies because they have very good liquidity. And layer ones are what's hot right now. And also they're large cap cryptos for a reason, because their price has usually been going up. And I like to look for longs. So I don't want to necessarily trade this. From a fundamental perspective, I'm not familiar enough with this project in particular to give a recommendation. Of course, we can't give financial advice anyways. However, if you're very, very fundamentally confident in this project, which by the likes of the question, right? You're asking, is it dead? It sounds like you may not be. If I wasn't very fundamentally confident in this project, I'd probably just cut ties with it and look to allocate my capital somewhere more useful. Unfortunately, it looks to be down quite a bit, 95%. All right, and that's all the questions we actually have. Bill, do you have any parting words for us, or anything else we want to get to?
No, sir. That's it. Friends, we appreciate you tuning in. We also want to wish you a very happy holiday season. All right. We are grateful for your viewership, and we are grateful out there for Token Metrics customers. We are here to help you make money in crypto. You will always get 110% from the Token Metrics team, okay, on these live streams and on my market update show. So we will check out your comments. We will try to get to your coins, but I definitely want you to know. I want you to know how much we appreciate you and how much we sincerely mean that. This is the Token Metrics live stream. I'm your host, Bill Noble. We will see you tomorrow.